Welcome back, everybody. My name is All Fun and Games. I stream every day on Twitch TV, and I also make fun little videos here on YouTube. Today, we're talking about none other than our friend Wigfrid. Used to be another favorite character of mine, but recently I started migrating away from Wigfrid, but not to say that I'm not going to go back. Anyways, Wigfrid recently got a skill tree or a skill set, I guess whatever you want to call it, it's up to you. So let's go ahead and review that real quick. Now, some of the things need more in-depth stuff, which I'm not going to go too heavy into, but I'll give you the brief description of them. So basically, if you know, Wigfrid gets these battle songs that she can use to, do sort of inspirations. Overall, they are cool. They do certain things depending on what you're doing with them. I don't really focus on that too much as Wigfrid, but of course, to each their own. So it's up to you if you decide to do that yourself. But anyways, let's talk about it here. Fighting words, battle stingers will no longer consume inspiration and instead have a cooldown. So basically just things to do with your songs and blah, blah, blah. Learn to craft the battle call canister, a storage solution for battle songs and battle singers. Learn to craft the warrior's reprise, bring your allies back to life for an encore performance. So basically revival abilities by just singing or, well, doing damage, I guess. Receive a divine blessing that will provide... Now, before we go into this, the reason why this is a thing is because we find out that Wigfrid is, of course, a performer, singer, whatever you want to call it. The lore is like something like Wigfrid was never a warrior, just acting like a warrior or something like that. I don't really know. The lore is a little bit crazy for me. I love the lore, but I don't dive too deep into it. But that's why there's songs and blah, 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 blah. Receive a divine blessing that will provide you planar defense. Now, when it comes to planar defense and shadow damage and blah, 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 and all that other stuff, I don't want to dive too deep into it because this is really late game stuff, but it is things that will have to be mattered. That's why I don't really focus on the affinity. Affinity is also just basically aligning yourself with, do you care more about damage with shadow versus lunar? Okay, the Elden Spear enhancement. The Elden Spear can now perform a special attack. This attack repairs charged Elden Spears if it hits a target. These are just new weaponry that you can make. Upgrade the Elden Spear using restrained static to deal 20% planar damage. Pretty cool. So basically you can make more of a static spear. Inspiration gain rate will increase a little when attacking battle spears. Cool. Inspiration rate will increase a fair amount when attacking using battle spears. And of course, learn to craft the Elden Spear. This is what triggers these things. Weapon that does more damage to wet targets. So basically you can use it to do some pretty cool stuff. And I'll show you that in another video. Hard helmet battle helms will be a little bit more durable when worn by Wigfrid. Pretty awesome. Battle helms will be a fair amount more durable when being worn by Wigfrid. And learn to craft the commander's helm, a helm that protects against knockback attacks. Pretty amazing. So if you have a creature that is going to knock you back, pretty much anything, specifically plants. Yeah, that's right. The plants, the lunar plants, of course, the ones that just recently came out, the bright shades, are so annoying that they will literally knock you back. And it's really annoying. So you can wear this to kind of help with that. Commander's Helm now has protection against planar damage. Pretty amazing. Wigfrid's natural healing ability will repair her Commander's Helm when she continues to fight at maximum health, which is pretty amazing because you can literally repair your helmet by just retaining your HP. So this is why Wigfrid is now a lot more, versatile than just being a character that summons a bunch of helmets and spears and some decent damage and songs and whatever else. Learn to craft the Battle Rod, aka Shield. This shield can be used to attack, block attacks, and provide extra protection while equipped. Duration of the Battle Rod's ability to block attacks will be increased. After blocking an attack with the Battle Rod, your next attack within 5 seconds will deal 15 to 30 damage based on the damage block. So just a cool little thing to have. And then some rider stuff, so basically beefalo things. Domestication 50% faster. Will allow you to ride them for 30% longer. Riding a beefalo will make your inspiration slowly rise until it reaches the halfway mark, and learn to craft a new saddle that protects your beefalo. Basically some, battle beefalo armor if you have it. Anyways, that's it, which is pretty cool. So let's get into the game and showcase our friendly little Wigfrid here. So when you spawn in as Wigfrid now, you of course get yourself with just some meat because as we know, Wigfrid can only eat meat. That's right, only can eat meat. A complete opposite of Wort. So if you've played Wort before, Wigfrid is the opposite, has to only eat meat, which is actually pretty simple because there's lots of meat and don't starve together. Of course, you start out with a helmet, battle helm, and a battle spear, which of course are Wigfrid's specialties. Now, if you go into Wigfrid's category here, you can see that you're limited to also making a few things because I haven't unlocked the skill trees yet. Now, as Wigfrid, you can of course go ahead and make yourself or friends your battle spears and your battle helmets, which are a million times better. Well, in my opinion, a million times better, but let's go ahead and turn on creative mode real quick. And then your normal handy dandy little tiny little football helmet. Now, they're the same protection, 80%, 80% waterproof 2020, and of course the durability is almost double. So for the sake of getting yourself some gold and some rocks, you can really start to make some easy helmets. Now, the other bonus about this is, of course, like I said, if you compare it to Woody, so if you do have a Woody in the server, which I'm going to go ahead and showcase this, you can get a 70% with half the amount of durability, and of course it counts as fuel, no wetness protection, which doesn't really matter. So the hard hat is actually pretty darn good because of the price of it, but if you don't have a Woody in the server and you have a Wigfrid, you can make probably one of the best helmets in the game, if not the best helmets in the game, comparable to, of course, the Commander's helmet, which we won't get into right now. But anyways, the battle helmet is really good. 2 gold and 2 rocks. Now, late game, you're going to have a million golds. So it's great to have a Wigfrid kind of in your server, especially if you're in a situation where you just want to make a ton of helmets for very inexpensive. You can just go down at the Toadstool, have your Wigfrid make 400 million helmets and be super happy and not have to worry about transporting all those helmets, especially when it comes to boss fights. It can be really handy. Now, I talked about it, and I mentioned that, of course, when you go through the process of making yourself or unlocking the skill trees, which there's multiple ways of doing this. I've showed you that if you can just, all you got to do is just skip 500 days in the game, if you are okay with doing that, versus playing the game, which will do the same thing. You'll unlock all the skill sets. Anyways, you know that you can get these new spears. So you can get the new spear as Wigfrid. Let's just showcase it real quick. And the new spear does a decent amount of damage. It does electric damage. Well, AK includes electric damage plus 150 attacks versus 200 attacks at 53 damage. So anything that is, of course, wet will take additional damage. Now, the helmet does planar defense depending on what you're doing. Protection 80, installation, AK winter protection by 60, a ton of durability, and waterproofness 35. So overall, an amazing helmet. It does require 1 marble and 2 beefalo wool. So the beefalo wool is a little tricky because you can't really just make an abundance of these unless you are shaving beefalo left and right. So just remember that if you decide to try to make these things, they're not as simple as it sounds. However, the spears, on the other hand, require the same thing. Beefalo wool, of course, the goat horns, which are semi-annoying to get. There are ways of getting them fairly simple, but none other than these things being a little bit more late gamey. And in all honesty, I mean, they're kind of cool. They're just hard to come by. Like, I don't think I would really focus on them. So for now, if you're a beginner, just focus on your battle helms and stick with those for now, and then you'll have a good time. But otherwise, Wigfrid is a great character as long as you can keep her appetite at bay with her meat necessities. And of course, there's more things when it comes to all the different songs that Wigfrid can sing when Wigfrid is doing damage and all that other stuff. So when you go into your Wigfrid category, you can see all these little tiny warbles and blah 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 blah. You can go through here. Here, let me just show you real quick. I don't know if I can actually uncheck. Let's just see if I can do this. And she'll sing, blah, 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 giving you different things. So there's lullabies. There's just different ones. You can look on the wiki to not make this video a million minutes long. That'll tell you all the things you need to know about each individual ones of these. And of course, if you look on your, you press tab or scrapbook it, you can also tell, and it'll tell you exactly what it does too. So if you can type in, this thing is always so laggy for some odd reason. I don't know if it's actually going to show. But anyways, you get the idea how to look these things up. I'm not going to waste your time with them, but you can obviously go through the process of typing them in to Google and wikiing them to know exactly what each individual ones do. I don't really focus too much on these as Wigfrid, although I probably should, because it does help to actually, make Wigfrid a little bit better, especially when you are buffing people around you during boss fights. So don't ignore them just because I am. I just don't want to focus the video too heavily on that, as it can get a little bit deeper individually for each one when you can kind of just look them up yourself and experience it yourself, because that's what life is about, is all about experiencing and going through the process of learning yourself for certain things. So I don't want to make the video a million years long just by doing that. Anyways, that's it for me when it comes to Wigfrid. I hope you enjoyed my little guide here. I think Wigfrid is an all-around great character, just a lot of complication. I mean, honestly, Wigfrid used to be a character that was kind of more of like a hack and slash, similar to Wolfgang. Then they upgraded Wigfrid to kind of have all these little tiny extras that are pretty cool. You just need to know when and how to use them. But overall, fairly decent character. Definitely still one of the top tier characters if you know how to use them. So go out there, have fun with Wigfrid. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I will see you in the next video.